Alright guys, welcome to another video. Today, as usual on the Wednesday, I'm doing a bit more of a educational slash tip video, and today what I want to talk about is actually just aggression. But so you would have probably seen it by the title, but how can you actually develop aggression and finding that perfect balance? You already know that I'm a big believer in sort of just basing your trading on your personality. I feel like that's one of the most important things because that's the most sustainable in the long term and you're most comfortable with, and obviously you can use that to just a lot of that is from aggression in my opinion. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to sort of go and draw along as I go along, as you can see. So again, you can vary aggression by a few different things, so whether that is entry, whether that is time frames, um or filters, you can say. There's a lot of ways to go about it, so I'm just going to walk over a few different approaches and how you can actually increase aggression step by step pretty much. And yeah, starting off with the first one, the first main aggression or the most aggressive type you can enter is on a limit order, right? Again, it's the order in itself which you can vary, which is a limit order. And if you set this limit order, well, there's nothing that gets more aggressive than that. And I guess it depends on what you base it off as well, but you will get into that a bit later. So the first and most aggressive, simple as that, just a limit order, right? Now the next more aggressive thing would be entering a single candle formation, right? So if you're entering on, let's say, a doji or a high rejection candle, right, you can enter on something like this. So you actually can slightly more conservative because you're waiting for confirmed, you can say, rejection on in the candle. You're waiting for the close and then you enter in the next bar market, right? Then we got next type, which would be a high close. Now ignore all the colors because I'm not going to waste your time just changing the colors, but let's say you've got these move up. I mean, that's a 3-bar reversal I've drawn, but it doesn't really matter. It's this candle that's most important here that breaks this low and closes below, right? So we've got this rejection candle, and the next step after that, the next little bit of confirmation to the downside in this case, is a lower low, lower close candle, right? Now you can be slightly more aggressive and only need, let's say, a red candle, right, in the direction. So you can do that, and obviously there's loads of things in between. So maybe before that you can even want 2 rejection candles and enter in the second. There's so many different ways to actually place orders, but starting from a little more order, we're going to go to a doji or rejection candle into a lower low, lower close slash 3-bar reversal, and the following step after that would be a double top, right? Now you play on the retest again. So let's say this top here is uh, like this. Well, then the zone you need your candle to close and reject at is this zone here, right? So you play off this double top, and again you play it off with a nice little next bar market order as soon as that happens. And it's just as simple as that. There's nothing to it. You can build your rules around the double tops. How far deep can they actually pull back before it's invalidated? Maybe it's all the way until it hits your targets, but then it's like, oh, if it goes 1 pip before the target, comes back and pulls up, do you still take it? Maybe you need a rule like me where I need 2 candles not interfering with this top so I can actually class it as a double top, right? So there's that. Now next one for me, I feel this one gets overlooked quite a little bit, or quite a bit, and it's something that I actually looked at right at the start of my trading, and I'm sort of not a huge fan of double tops, but I've got sort of my reasoning behind it. So it'll be this, right? So the price is moving higher. Sorry, it's just moving my chart. But so we've got this double top, right? And again, you can draw out this resistance wick, you can say, right? I'm going to draw that wick as well, just creating up masterpieces, you can say. But the next step is actually a lower low, lower close after that double top. Now a lot of people don't actually do that because I don't know why. I guess double tops is enough confirmation for them, but I feel like this is actually a very good sign, especially, I'll go over it quickly, especially when RSI is overbought, right? We always look for this divergence. So we've got this flat line and then we want this bearish divergence on the RSI looking, how do I draw this? Give me a sec. We want something like this and then an equal equal test here on the price action, but a divergence on the RSI. But the thing with that is this down move, it doesn't actually look like that in real time. So what it looks like more in real time is something like this, right? Now, yes, you do have divergence, right, for now, right? But I found that a lot of the times, well, price will actually just continue higher, and that's why I don't really like the double top approach. I'd rather see some confirmation after it, and obviously I've got a few other issues with the double top as well, but you know, something to look at. And again, if it's worked for you, it works for you. But a lower low low close, I feel like it's a good sign of confirmation, and again, you can have your stops and whatever. So that's the next sign. The following would be a double top 2618 type, so a break of that V point, right? A break and close above. Again, you can use that, just the probe. You can use sell stop orders here, however you want to approach it. And you know, the last one, I wouldn't say this is actually more aggressive. I would say this is just you getting a better price, but I wouldn't say it's actually more aggressive. It's actually the 2618, right? Now we know the 2618 is that this pullback here and entering on the 618, right? But typically good move, ooh, I pinpointed that very nicely. Typically, right, these good moves don't last. So what you want to see is actually when we break this level of structure, we want it to carry it down. A pullback's not, you know, it's a sign of a weaker trend, right? You know, typically the weaker the pullback, the stronger the trend, right? So the fact that if we do get a pullback, first of all, it's just automatically weaker, right? And the deeper it is all the way up to the 618, it's actually a slightly lesser opportunity, but I can see why people do it. Obviously I use it. Maybe I can't get a good enough risk reward entering here on the break, so there's various reasons behind it, but you know, I don't think this is actually more conservative than this, right? It's just the way it is, but it is a better price most likely, right? But it is typically a better price than what this break could be. Obviously if this break is all the way here and then the 618 comes up to this level, then yes, it's not a better price, but most of the time it will be. Now the second way to actually increase this aggression is going down on the time frame. So you can have you know, you can be someone that, let's say, goes like me. I'll use my examples because that's what you see on the videos. So you can be someone that looks at the 60 for you know, his trading opportunities, and I enter on the 5 minute, right? Well, where's the text box? There you go. Right, well, the 5 minute, well, I'm actually going to put the 5 minute bit, yeah, I'm going to put it here because 5 minute is a fairly aggressive entry. Now if I was to use the same entry techniques as I do, right, well, they would be this would be on the 15 minute. Well, on the 15 minute, it's actually a safer option than the 5 minute, right? A lower low, lower close on the 5 minute is going to occur much more than a lower low, lower close on the 15 minute. So your quality of trade might not actually be as good because it's more aggressive, so you're more vulnerable to losers, but you can make a lot of combinations here. So, you know, for me, the way I would see it is maybe you can say the aggression of a lower low, lower close on the 15 minute might be the same as a double top for you on the 5 minute, right? Because it cancels it out. Yes, the double top's more conservative in its nature, but it's more because it's on the lower time frame, it's more aggressive than a double top on the 15 minute. So that's the balance I've really liked to find. Now, before I used to enter on a lower low, lower close on the 5 minute, on the 15 minute, sorry, and it doesn't sit well with me. I'm not gonna lie to you, it doesn't sit too well with me because I do like the sort of more confirmation that price will go towards the downside. Hence, you know, you see me using head and shoulders as well, right? Again, that's one of the even more conservative patterns. The pull back into it as well, a full trend reversal, right? It's another thing I look at. You know, these even very conservative entries, right? Full on price action patterns, but they sit well with me because despite how conservative and you could say rarely they would occur, right? Because it's on the 5 minute, it increases that frequency, and you know that that conservativeness sort of cancels out my aggression of being on the 5 minute itself. Now, what it also does for me is the fact that it's quite a conservative entry, and I'll use the head and shoulders for an example, right? It gives me the confidence to put stops above this level, right? For me, this indication of a head and shoulders on the 5 minute gives me the more confidence that it will hold, because as you know me, if you've seen my other videos, I don't really trust 5 minute structure that well. Like, that's just my personal opinion. So especially when it comes to, let's say, where's all the lines gone? Sorry. Especially when it comes to, let's say this is on the 5 minute, right? Well, these little zones, these little outside returns, me placing my stops just above here or just above here, I don't trust it. So I would actually prefer stop 2 outside returns above, or is it technically one side outside return above? I don't know. But rather than the actual outside return, I would rather do it on the previous one, just because these levels on the 5 minute don't hold out as well. That's just, again, my preference, my opinion on the market, and my philosophy. As you go up the time frames, the 15 minute holds better than the 5, the hourly holds better than the 15, the daily holds better than the hourly, right? So there's so many ways you can tweak your aggression and find that perfect balance, which I believe I've sort of found now. Again, they are quite conservative, and I can always increase it or decrease it, right? Like I said, my most aggressive entry is actually the 2618 break. So I played the break and closed below this V point after 2618. Well, as maybe I get more confident in my analysis and I see that I'm missing out a lot of the moves, or this is just ruining my risk reward, well, I might go to that approach where I do a low close after a double top, right? Stuff like that. Now, the last way you can increase or decrease aggression is by using filters, and for the sake of argument, I'll use RSI, which you can't see apparently. But RSI is, the indicator I use. So again, maybe if you're doing a double top entry, you would need RSI oversold on here, right? So where is this? There you go. So, nope, right there. Right, and you need maybe divergence, right? Maybe divergence is mandatory for you, right? Between here, these levels here. And that's one filter you can use. For me, for my entry techniques, I don't actually require RSI to be oversold, because it's just, yeah, I don't really need it, right? So I never really thought about it. I don't know why. I just thought, look, this is the entry I want. That's what I'm going for, and I've been happy. I don't really look at the RSI in terms of my entry as a requirement. Now I look at it because I'm curious to see how it plays out. My whole sort of theory on strength and the RSI in itself, how I use it more than just a conventional counter trend opportunity method, you can say, with divergence and whatnot, and oversold and overbought. But it's my preference of style. So yeah, to sum it up, you can use many different ways to actually filter your aggression, coming from entry type method, right, to time frames, and then a combination of the two. And then you can also include filters in that as well, such as RSI. You can use ATR somehow, I don't know. But the best thing about it, right, you can use this in different scenarios, and I feel like that's crucial. So on your, let's say, best setups, right, I'll zoom in here for whatever reason. Let's say for me, I think a short in this kill zone is the best opportunity in the world. I am absolutely certain, well, not because you can never be certain, but I can absolutely see this happening, right? This move, I'm really confident in this move. Well, maybe because you're so confident and it's one of your better setups for whatever reason. Maybe the daily is telling you it's the best setup ever, whatever. Right, well, that's when you can actually increase your aggression, whether it's, again, by time frame, whether it's by your entry reason. And that will come from rules, that will come from your reviews, which that's why I do them pretty much, because I'm going to be able to develop that intuition and them so-called better setups to actually be more aggressive on and everything like that. And again, we all know that good moves don't last. So the aggressive traders more likely to catch them as well, but they're more likely to catch the worse and more loser moves, you can say. So hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it valuable. If you did, just make sure you subscribe, comment, like. Yeah, so just let me know if you need anything, any questions, any specific topics you want me to cover. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. So as always, hope you enjoyed, and in a bit.